Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of A Healthy Dose of Fran. Today it's a new movie review for the most anticipated film of this year and probably in life. I don't even know. It's just, there is so much to talk about. I'm so excited to do it, and you know what? I'm going to skip this introduction because let's get on to Marvel Avengers Endgame movie review. Well, okay, before anything starts, this episode is going to be absolutely chock-a-blocked with spoilers. So an official spoiler alert going straight here, and I'll put a time here for you guys to skip to so you can get my final thoughts, my final assessment and rating of the film overall, because yes, the spoilers for Avengers Endgame will be starting now. Okay, so the biggest part of this film in general is predominantly the fact that this is kind of the finale to the original Avengers. So this is Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye and Hulk. And honestly, I think that's the best direction this film could have gone with, because this film and the entire franchise was kind of leading up to this moment. Like, this film has been, what, like, I don't even know how many, like 10, 12 years in the making now. I don't remember when the first film came out. But it's been such a long time coming, and to have this focus on the original six, the original Avengers, and follow their character story and their arcs to the conclusion of what happens to them at the end and where they go from here, which in the majority of cases is a new beginning, a new start, or in a few cases an end to a life. And I think just in general, because considering how long in the making this has been coming, this was the best thing to do. Yes, we do have a focus on some other characters like Nebula, which, oh my god, I loved that Nebula got such a character growth and character arc in this. Like, we see so many different things with her character. We see how far she's come from her original introduction to now, and I think that's absolutely brilliant. And as much as I love that we had this focus on the original six and how these things concluded, I definitely do have a few irritations, I guess I would say, for the film itself, in how, firstly, everything was solved. Because, okay, I talked about this in a previous video, which I'm going to card up here, and I really hope this wasn't going to happen. But basically, myself and probably many others as well predicted that time travel was most likely going to be the thing that solved everything, and it was. They figure out how to sort time travel with the quantum realm with the help of Ant-Man, who comes back. They go back in time to points where the Infinity Stones, they knew the locations of them, collected them, brought them back to the present, and snapped everyone back. And that's, like, great, I guess. It's a little lazy writing, I would say, because, like, time travel is such a... why? It could, like, why did you have to? And just, like, it's interesting because it kind of gave a little bit of insight to past things, and also led up to a few of the conclusions to some of our character stories. For example, Captain America, Steve, which I'll talk about a little bit later, and Iron Man as well, and actually led to the kind of the first casualty of the film. And I'm going to talk about this one now just because this was, it was kind of a shock, but also I was kind of half expecting it at the same time. And this is, so obviously we know from Infinity War that the Soul Stone, to get it, you've got to give a soul for a soul. And in this case, both Black Widow and Hawkeye were the ones sent to collect the Soul Stone, because obviously at this point they didn't actually know how Thanos had collected the stone. And this is where the first casualty goes. And I think the kind of the saddest bit of this is that both her and Clint are kind of fighting each other to kind of get there. I think I've just given away who dies, oh well. And they fight each other to sacrifice, but eventually Black Widow is able to kind of get the upper hand and sacrifices herself, because Clint has a family, she doesn't. He deserves to be able to carry on his life, I think is kind of probably the process she was going with, and we lose Natasha. So that was kind of the first initial, oh my god, sort of thing. Even though actually technically the first one was in the very first 5 minutes, but I'm getting off track. But we see these different things throughout points where I think this was kind of the interesting part. So obviously this is going back to the fact that everything's connected to the original 6. And predominantly the main 3, so Captain America, Iron Man and Thor obviously have had the biggest impact on everything because they've all had their own individual films. And we actually see in the part where they go back in time to different moments that they kind of cross over with the past films. So we kind of get a reference to Thor 2, that's the Dark World, not the best one admittedly, but there's a reference back to that. We get a reference to Avengers Assemble, we get a reference to another one, I can't actually remember which one it is, but like we get these past references, these past scenes. There's a reference to the Winter Soldier and stuff like that, and it's just such a great thing to see, considering that those 3 characters have been the focal point for the Marvel Cinematic Universe since it started, pretty much, or at least since we got their first films. And it was nice to see those kind of throwbacks and how everything's kind of brought to fruition. I think the most interesting thing is that obviously time travel is always going to be a bit complicated. And again, I'm still frustrated that they brought time travel in, but you know, whatever. Basically, Thanos ends up finding out what's happening, and he goes to their time to get the gauntlet to try and change things back, and they are unable to do the snap, so Hulk is able to undo the snap because he can withstand the power of it. They bring everyone back, and there is this absolutely humongous fight that breaks out, and it's, oh my god, it was such a visually stunning fight. Oh my god. So we have all of Thanos's minions and companions and warriors, so all the ones that we've seen throughout the entire MCU come back in that one fight. We have everyone that we know throughout the MCU on the good side fighting against them, and oh, it's just mayhem. It's amazing, and oh my god, it's just beautiful. But it does lead up to some impressive moments. The main one being, oh my god, Captain America is worthy of, I can't say Hammer's Thor's name, Mimir?
Mimir? What's Mimir?
Who knows? But he is worthy of the hammer, which I predicted like that he was going to be, and I'm kind of glad that they showed it in the film itself. It was such an amazing moment. Oh my god. But then we also kind of get the finale to Iron Man's one, in that he is a true hero, that he knew exactly what was going to happen, and it is him sacrificing himself to save everyone, and that is by using the gauntlet, which is an immensely powerful weapon, which as just a regular mortal, even in his suit, he's not able to withstand that power, but he's able to make the snap, remove the enemies from the battle, and he does sadly die. And it's such a heartbreaking thing, especially when Peter Parker goes to see him, and then Pepper and everything, and it's just, oh, it's just literally not a dry eye in the cinema at all, as it should have been. And oh, so that is one main trio gone, with his arc completed. He was a true hero. He had a heart. He was Iron Man.
I am Iron Man.
And oh my god, that is the line he uses to defeat Thanos. And it's just, such a brilliant end for Tony's character. And then going on from that, we then go to Tony's funeral later on. And they go to return the stones after the fact, with Steve going back in time to put them back to the original places. But he doesn't come back to the original time. Instead, he goes back to be with Peggy, and they get their happy ever after. He finally gets his dance with her.
You're gonna need a rain check on that dance.
And they see old Steve at Tony's funeral, and this is okay. This is just I know it's a really sentimental moment there, but I'm now going to talk about something that I really didn't like, and this is the fact that Cap gives his shield to Falcon. Now, I think it's lovely. I do kind of understand their friendship sort of thing, but going off of comic book canon, at least the canon that I know about, Bucky is the one who becomes Captain America at one point, or at least he was definitely meant to after Civil War, I think. So I was kind of confused as to why Bucky didn't get the shield. But maybe it's explained later on, because I know Falcon and Bucky are going to get their own TV show. So who knows if that's going to be explained later, but whatever. Either way, I'm so happy that Cap got his happy ending and his happy life with Peggy. And that's actually how the film ends with it. Now for Thor, okay. Thor in this film, I was really so unhappy with. They've literally destroyed Thor's character, in my opinion. He's just kind of a bit of a joke now. Like, he gets fat in this film. He becomes a drunk and just a bit of a gimmick, really. And I think that's a really real disservice to his character. Like, I completely understand his mourning side, but he becomes a bit of an arse. Like a drunken arse. And I just don't really understand it at all. And his arc as well is quite disappointing. Like, I think he may possibly be joining the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not too sure. But I think the only nice thing was that he has, like, made Valkyrie king of Asgard, which is now on Earth with the Asgardians that are left. And, like, that I liked. But again, I kind of wish there was more of a conclusion or, like, an idea of where he was, of where his arc was going or where he was going. So that kind of was a slight disappointment for this film in general, just because I think they really kind of screwed over his character. Hawkeye, he went like complete 180. He went incredibly dark after losing his family, obviously. And I think he's probably going to retire to be with his family, like I think he was originally planning on doing anyway, and that's definitely going to happen. Hulk, I don't really know what he's going to do, but this was an interesting one. So both Bruce and Hulk are kind of coexisting with each other now, which is interesting. So I don't know really what's going to happen with Hulk. Other than the snap, Hulk really doesn't have much to do in the film itself except get the time stone. So it's a bit confusing, but his one. But I think it's probably more of the focus on the original three. I was slightly disappointed that we don't get to see, other than Nebula, other character stories like Carol, so Captain Marvel, barely in it except for maybe the first 10 minutes and the last 10-15 minutes. Okoye, we see her for like 5-10 minutes. And it's strange, I don't know. But I'm intrigued to see where this is going to go in the future. So we've gotten this conclusion for the original Avengers. They've all either retired, in some cases have died, in others found a new life, and in one case going off somewhere else. So I don't know where the new Avengers are going to come from. Are we going to get an entirely new cast, which I would absolutely love, as long as obviously Spider-Man and probably Scarlet Witch as well are kind of still in the Avengers, because I think that would make sense, especially in Spider-Man's case. But are we going to get new characters? Are we going to get new follow-ups? Because I know that we have a female Thor that comes, so maybe that's going to be Valkyrie. But you know what, I'm so thrilled with how well this film went. And yes, there are definitely disappointments, the main two being time travel, because come on, why? And then also the fact that Thor kind of was given a disservice in this film, in my opinion. But other than that, I think Avengers Endgame was a brilliant conclusion to this overarching arc that's been in the process since Iron Man. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. Now for those coming back, my final thoughts are basically that this film is completely worth seeing. It's such a great conclusion. There are so many great scenes in this in general, and the characters' arcs and the characters' stories in most cases are done with such a sense of understanding of who these characters are and how they deserve to be remembered and how their stories deserve to end. And I think with this have been in the making for so long, it was very well done, and I can't wait to see who the next Avengers will be firstly, but then also where the stories of those who are left will go on. So in general, out of 10, this film is a solid 9 out of 10. It would be higher if it weren't for the few criticisms that I have. But yeah, solid 9. Go watch it. It is completely worth it. But what do you guys think? Did you enjoy Avengers Endgame? Do you have your own theories as to what could have happened? Do you have your own thoughts about the positives and negatives of this film in general? Let me know in the comment section down below. And because there may be some comments, be sure to be aware that there may be spoilers down below for anyone who didn't want to hear any of the spoilers. But in general, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you go to the description box down below, you'll find the link to the trailer for Avengers, as well as the link to my Instagram and Patreon. But here on YouTube, if you guys aren't already subscribed, go to the button down below or click the one popping up here on screen. If you want to check out any of my previous film reviews, the players will be popping up here. And then my previous Avengers videos, one will be popping up here. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.